Alright, a couple of things. I do not know how to begin, but this content, free-to-play, completely impossible. Come on guys, come on, let's be real here, okay? So the thing is, I've tested a bunch of free-to-play comps. I've even tested using a Falcon DPS comp with a Gaius and, you know, just typical supports and all that kind of stuff. It is extremely impossible for you to get EX++, which requires you 3.8 million. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this is impossible. The first is they have locked your Esper selection to literally Valeria at R0. She is by far one of the worst Espers in this game, comparing against rare Espers as well. At R0, of course I'm capping, okay, I can hear a lot of you sweaty sims out there hammering a keyboard because I talked about your waifu. But she is effectively useless for this entire team at R0 because this boss just does a bunch of AoE attacks, right? So he has AoE attack over here, and he also has AoE attack over here. So he has a lot of AoE attacks, and her R0 state is really quite redundant. So the whole point of this content was to force you to get her to R2, your own copy of R2 Valeria, can you imagine that? Just so that you can tank the boss's attacks, and so that you do not need to rely too much on healing because the boss scales super fast, and so that she becomes a more reliable DPS at the same time. And the second issue here is the
turn limit
in this garbage, absolutely garbage content. I have to admit it, okay? This content, no one likes it. And the fact that there is such a short 120 turn cooldown at the turn limit on this content is completely ridiculous, because I can run a setup like this and I can actually survive until 120, which means that the power boost that the boss receives is not enough to deplete my team. And if that's a situation, why do you even have both power boost and the turn limit at the same time? These two don't make sense. You either have one or the other, not both. If you want to add power boost, then you really don't care about turn limits, because your goal is to eventually do so much damage that the boss just go crazy and he just one-shots you afterwards. So you don't need turn limits afterwards. And the thing is, if you want to implement turn limits, then why does the boss have power boost? Because isn't this a matter of fighting against time? Why are we fighting against time and the fact that the boss is going crazy? And for the fact that for free-to-play players, this is like increasingly impossible, right? This is just so many layers of difficulties added on. Now the thing is, I did manage to get EX++ with R6 Embla, R6... No, I mean, okay, a bunch of crazy stuff that is completely not free-to-play, which I'm gonna segue into the next topic of today's video, which is... Okay, firstly, let me just quickly say, Lilith, please fix this content. It's not too late. If you fix this, players can get EX++, you'll be happy, okay? That's all players really care about. They don't care about PvP, they care about EX++ in PvE content. Alright, and now the segue to what I want to talk about next is I apologize a bit that my content is not free-to-play catered for the most part. Like, I know I wanted to push my content to be like 50% free to play, 50% pay to win, so that I can like support both sides of the player base and at the same time have more content to cover as well, because I think it's quite important to talk about like certain R6 aspects, but that is very unrealistic because 90% of you guys who watch my videos, you will never get an R6 Esper. You probably quit before that, or you probably don't have the capacity to save up wish stones to max out one single Esper when you really need to max out that Esper, right? You're probably pulling on a whim. That is not a jab, okay? This is just how normal players play. And if you do not have excess money lying around that you can use to invest into a game that will really give you, you know, a lot of extra resonance copies, then yeah, obviously this is going to be very difficult for you. And I just want to be realistic here. I find it very difficult to cover free-to-play teams because for the most part, even if I use a free-to-play Esper, let's say Clara, right? My Clara is at R6. That normally wouldn't mean much, but the thing is, her triple heal sometimes helps a lot. I kind of understand that. I do have R6 Embla, and for this content, R0 Embla is good enough. But the thing is, because my Embla is R6, there's naturally going to be people who are saying, okay, you are using an R6 comp. That's why, and I somehow got clapped here. That's why I'm actually beating this content so fast, dealing so much damage. But in reality, it's probably not that much of a big deal because you have a lot of Espers here taking a lot of turns, popping all your character seed all the time, right? Yeah, so there is that. Maybe, you know what, I should just run my Embla comp here. And like just a bunch of my other Espers. I have R6 Brewster, I have R6 Tia, R6 Ahmed, R6 Gabriel, R6... I have 17 R6 Espers in my roster. So because of that, that severely limits the kind of Espers that I can showcase if I want to claim that the video is going to be free-to-play friendly. I mean, at the same time, there are players who even complain that I have R6 Epic Espers. Yeah. So that says a lot, right? So this naturally restricts me to a lot of content, and I really want to push decent free-to-play content as much as possible. But of course, there is the other elephant in the room, which is I've played this game for so long that my equipment is just maybe a bit above average, right? And some of you guys are going to say, oh wow, Daddy Free to Play, you're not a bit above average. You're like way above average. And I'm not. This is not trying to raise myself up, but the reason why I say that my equips are just a bit above average is because I do not use the presets at all. So all my equipment is averaged out among all of my espers. So yes, my equipment are actually just a little bit above average. It's enough to perform the task, and that's why I'm able to build so many different espers. But then again, my equipment is still a bit above average, and that is pretty much out of reach to a lot of you guys. So there's also that issue where my equips are already developed, and even if I showcase a free-to-play comp, it's really not going to be like super free-to-play. And for some reason, players have to remind me that I'm either not free to play, or with equipments like mine that is not free to play, then my question to you is, why do you still watch my stuff? I'm not trying to kick you away from my channel, but we have to be realistic, right? So if you watch my stuff, you already have an expectation of what my equipments look like. You already have an expectation of what my account looks like. And therefore, for me to push free to play content is a little bit difficult. Now with that said, how I intend to address this moving forward, because you know, resonances are resonances, you cannot undo resonances. What I will do moving forward is to only use legendary espers that, number one, you can get for free, and number two, they do not have ridiculous resonances. So like for example, I can use Abigail. Abigail at R0 is good enough, right? Her resonances don't matter all that much. I can use espers like Clara for the most part. I think her triple healing is not so important unless the specific content allows me to do so well because she has the 2 turns of immunity, which does happen at times. Or I will just strictly use epic espers just because they are mostly attainable, except for like the championship espers, for example, right? But those will be more for like different showcases and all that. But yeah, so I am in a really difficult predicament. Maybe you guys can just let me know what you expect from my content. Would you expect me to just strictly rely on espers that are obtainable? I mean, only for the free-to-play content, of course. I would still like to do some R6 showcases regardless, or maybe some pay-to-win showcases, which I think is quite fun at times. So yeah, let me know what is your preferences for the free-to-play content on this channel. Oh my god, we almost did it. Oh my god, can you see that? So we actually survived, but I know I just like segue again. We fully survived, but because of the stupid turn limit, we're not able to get an EX++. And this is with a comp that has a bunch of really crazy espers. Like, I feel like this is like probably one of the better setups right now. We have the Embla, we have the Gaius, we have Gabriel for immunity, we have Ahmed for healing. We need all of these espers just because of this little shit over here. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below about the free-to-play content, what you want and what you expect from it. But hope you guys enjoyed today's content. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, that's been free to play, and as always, I will see you in the